Hello, everyone, and how are you guys? It's been a long time. Now, I have been thinking about should I make a video about this? Should I talk about this? But after seeing everything that's going on, yeah, for sure. I decided, okay, let's talk about this. So, Dr. Disrespect, a popular video game streamer, probably the best content creator, streamer, most entertaining out there, ended his stream the other day and said he was taking a long vacation with his family. After he was dropped by Midnight Society, then Turtle Beach, his major sponsors. And then everybody wanted to turn their back on him, including his so-called friends like Tim the Tatman. Because he, back in 2017, 7 years ago, he engaged in a conversation online with a 17-year-old young lady. Now, everybody out there is throwing the minor word around. Minor this. He talked to a minor. Inappropriate. Minor. Everybody is missing the major thing here. We're not talking about a 12, 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old child. We are talking about a 17-year-old young woman who, by the way, 17 is the age of consent in most states. Old enough to consent. All they did was talk online, okay? And yet everybody out here is throwing words around like a file and, creeper and all of these things. And it's so crazy to me. First of all, Doc never said, I knew she was a minor at the time of this conversation. Right. And he never said, by the way, I knew she was 17 when I was talking to her. So that's not clear whether he knew or whether he didn't know. Now, that was the reason for his Twitch ban in 2020, according to this Connor person. Or Cody person, I'm sorry. But he was still paid by Twitch. I'm going to tell you that she knew who she was talking to. She knew what she was doing. She, who was at 17 years old, is legally old enough to consent to, let's say, life. Okay? So everybody who's walking around throwing out child predator, freaking pedophile, freaking creeper, he was talking to a minor. Stop throwing the minor word around like that, because minor covers so many things. But in most states, at 17, you are legally old enough to consent. Okay? Which, by the way, we're talking about conversations here. We're not talking in real life. We're not talking meeting up. We're not talking interactions. Okay? We are talking conversations. Now, for the sponsors to pull out is one thing. But for all of his so-called friends and people who probably, let's be honest, wouldn't be where they are without his help, to turn their back on him like they are is completely insane to me. Now, let me put it to you this way. There's a very popular YouTube family out there. YouTube family channel, okay? He is now, they've been together for 15, 16 years now at this point. He has admitted, and we're talking 20 million followers. He has admitted on their podcast and in videos before that when he got with his now wife, who was then 16 years old, he was 25. He's come right out and said that. None of his followers went away. None of his followers were calling him names. None of his sponsorships were pulled. And he admitted to getting with his girlfriend when she was 16 and he was 25. Nobody blinked an eye. But then the doc comes out, and this all comes out with all this information about, oh my God, he talked to a 17-year-old girl, a 17-year-old young woman 7 years ago. And now he's getting all this hate for it. And I don't think people should be out there throwing the words around that they are. Like for example, the words I just got done saying. I mean, I don't think people think about their actions. And I wonder how many of you men out there have interacted in conversations online when you don't know who in the world you were talking to, whether she was 16, 25, 32, or 14. You don't know because you don't know who you're talking to on the internet. That's just facts. So before everybody walks around wanting to be so damn judgmental and so, oh my God, he's a bad person. Think about things real quick before you go out and put a tweet out. Think about things before you go out and, run your pie hole. Because you weren't there. You never read the messages. You have no idea what they said. And let's not forget the facts. She was 17 years old, legally old enough to consent to in real life behavior, let alone some conversations. I think that's the point that everybody here is missing. Everybody's like, oh my God, he talked to a minor. Oh my God, a minor. Oh my God, Doc talked to a minor. And it's like, stop saying minor, first of all. Yes, she was under the age of 18, but she was 17, legally old enough to consent. She knew who she was talking to. She knew what she was doing. And I'm sure she got some money out of the situation because there was a settlement. So I'm just saying, it's not your job to judge. You're not the judge, the executioner. You aren't. It's not your job. It's not your job. Okay? If you don't want to watch the guy or support the guy, that's fine. Don't watch him or support him. But don't be throwing around things that could ruin someone's life if you have no idea what you're talking about. If you weren't there, if you weren't part of the conversation, if you haven't seen the transcripts of the conversation. Everyone's so quick to judge. No one wants to talk about the fact that, again, I will say it again, she was 17 years old. She was not 12. She was not 14. She was not 15. She was old enough to consent legally. She knew she was talking to the doc. She knew who she was talking to. That's the bottom line. I mean, what else is there to say about the whole situation? I just think it's totally crazy. Totally insane. I mean, Roman come out and said, listen, I got with Brynn. I got with her, my wife, who was then my girlfriend. I got with her when she was 16. I was 25. Now he's 41 and she's 33. Nobody says a word. I get it. But it's kind of a double standard, isn't it? Just think about that. His wife didn't leave him. His wife's still with him. So obviously it wasn't that bad. Or she would have walked out the door. So why is everybody else walking out the door? I just think to he has no support from anybody right now except his true Champions Club members that still have his back. Because, again, we're not talking about a child here. He's not a child predator, for crying out loud. He's a guy who got baited and caught up in a conversation with a consenting 17-year-old young woman. Get over yourselves. Seriously. If you want to chase down predators and you want to go after child predators, there's plenty of them out there. But you're barking up the wrong tree, in my opinion. All right. Let me hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. I love you all. Stay strong, stay healthy, stay safe. Keep asking those hard questions. Keep spreading that light. And I will see you all next time. Stop judging others. It's not your job.